Good morning, everybody. Hopefully, this records correctly. It's May 30th, and it's probably my fault that I'm not seeing any of you with the technology, I'm guessing. I don't see anybody in the waiting room, and I'm signed in here with Miles's account. So I really apologize. I'm assuming it's my fault on that. But what I'm going to do instead of wasting this opportunity, hopefully, this will be helpful to you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to record the class, me going through it, and it'll be a little bit different since I'm by myself. This is going to be more of a demonstration, I suppose, a little bit less teaching. I'll include some ramblings here and there, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to play some music. Hopefully that won't be too interfering. This is kind of an experiment right now, but I'll show you kind of how I go through this, and it'll still be the same components of what we've done. If you've done this class before, we'll do some shaking. Uh, I'll do some cars, controlled articular rotations, and some dynamic stretching. But this is not to say this is the way to do it, but I just want to kind of give you an even more like authentic version of how I do it, because this is typically how I would warm up or kind of ramp up, and kind of move my body, um, to let it be a little more intuitive. But using the template that we've gone through, but moving a little bit more freely and doing more of the stuff that I feel like I need and less of the stuff that I don't. So, but I'll cover everything in the list. So we'll see how it goes. Again, if you watch this, um, you can follow along, but I'm mainly just gonna be kind of doing. It's not gonna be necessarily at a specific pace. I'm just gonna be listening to the music and listening to my body. So hopefully this ends up being helpful in some way. Um, but again, my apologies for being an idiot with this technology. I'll figure it out by next week. And if you guys have any questions about anything, please let me know. I'm always available by email or phone call, FaceTime, whatever. Okay. Well, here we go. Let's see if I can get this music sorted out, and we'll see what happens. Shaking is good. I don't know if you can still hear this, me talking, but that's about it for shaking. Some thoughts going from small to big, big to small, kind of thinking of the concept of maybe dropping something in the water, dropping a pebble versus a stone, and the ripple effect. So it can move in really slow and precise, bigger. Very simple though. It's a confusing topic, and this one feels the safest to your body, to your mind as well. Just a little bouncing, real easy. Moving the joints. You'll see I go back to shaking quite a bit, literally just shaking it off. Essentially, I'm trying to get my body to a state where I can react to whatever situation I'm in. I don't know that I'm going to be surfing this morning. That's kind of my main thing right now. But surfing is very dynamic. So essentially, I like to prepare my body for a variable of things. The ocean, obviously, is the biggest one. And then the other people out there. So just being prepared to go. That's really what this is about. Elbow cars. Moving to the shoulder. Trying to only affect this shoulder joint. Trying to avoid extending at the spine and rotating as well. Morning. How we doing? You got to make the circle. There you go. There you go. More of an undulation right now. There's a lot of things moving here. Feels good. Ooh. Hmm. More about this work is I figure if the joints work well, if we take care of the tissues well, the soft tissue, the joints, we can enjoy the activities we want to. Hopefully you heard that. Ooh, the neck. This is the full neck circle that I don't show. I don't find it's great for most people. But again, at the end of the day, all we're doing, we're just moving the body, not right or wrong, just moving on purpose. Mm. The rest of the spine. A little bit of a spinal wave. Also, from the bottom up. Lateral cat cow. Again, this will be repeated in a dynamic stretching with just a little more speed if needed. And mainly when I'm doing these myself, I'm basically going through the list that I gave you, I cannot forget that list if I try. So I'm basically going through a checklist. There's many items on that list. And again, you don't have to do them all, but that's essentially what I'm doing right now. Like, oh yeah, how's lateral flexion of the spine feeling today? Kind of testing it out. Feels pretty good. Mm. And you see with the spine, for me, I tend to spend a little more time on the spine. Side, back, side, forward, side, back, side, forward, left, back, right, forward, left, back, right, forward, back, left, forward, right, back, left, forward, right, back, left, forward, right. One that I haven't done for a few weeks with you guys, but one of my personal favorites here. I tend to say that about every exercise, I think, that it's my favorite, but this one's nice. Feels great today. Happy for that. When I'm doing this, I'm keeping my spine long, as you'll notice. Can also mm, mm. All right, getting into the hip. ankle. Knee. What else? What else? Yep. Yep. Okay. Dynamic stretching next. A little more emphasis on speed here. I'm gonna start with leg kicks, and I'm gonna do 2 with a little variation today. Usually hold on to something for balance. I'm just gonna show you kind of a more open position. Again, the idea is using a little bit of speed, a little bit of momentum to feel a stretch here. I'm just gonna do an alternating kick here to see how to get into this one. So there's here, boom. So I'm going across the body. Essentially what I'm doing is taking a step and then kicking. Trying to kick over my head. With the twist. Leg kicks, nice. Gonna do another. This one I usually don't show either, but depending on how long you've been around, see me do it. These are the tools I'm using. Nice little grill. If the kicks don't get you out of breath a bit, I don't think you're doing them right. It should be probably one of the hardest things we do. The hip cars and the leg swings. Big muscles in the legs. Moving on. We'll go upper body, dynamic stretch, shoulders. Flexion as I go up, extension in the back. Basic. Oh. At the spine. I like to start with extension on this one, if possible. This is the ugly push-up. So I'm going to go through these four motions here. So the first one will be the ugly push-up, you guys know. Then I'm going to go flexion and a slight extension where I'm reaching towards the ground from my feet. And then a lateral flexion, and then twisting. I'm just going to do these real speed here. You can see what they look like. And the grass is a little bit wet, so I'm going to skip the grass. And I'm going to try to get a reposition here. Hopefully you guys can still see this. And we're going to go for it. And remember, we're trying to get a stretch. You're trying to feel the stretch. So like I said, you don't have to exactly copy me on these. But like the next one, so we're going flexion, extension. I'll show you what it looks like when I do it. I'm gonna do half with my right foot down the hill. Boom, little extension there. For me, when I can get my knuckles down, that's usually a good range for me. Lateral flexion. Oh, this one. It's probably the hardest one for me, believe it or not. A lot of tension on the lateral line for me. Last one, going rotation. I'm gonna let everything rotate. What is that? No, what does that mean? I don't know if this is still recording. We'll see. A little more twisting. That's it. Saying I've been signed out, so I'm hopefully this is still recording, but that's everything, guys. If you can see, I have a nice sweat going. And, you know, let me pause the music. Now, sweating doesn't mean you did it right, but the way that I feel now versus about 40 minutes ago when I started, it's completely different. My body feels awake, feel ready to go, right? Got some sweat going, elevated the breathing a little bit. These are good symptoms of a warm up, right? And this is it doesn't need to take this long, right? When you guys are in the gym and warming up there, you see the pace is pretty quick, and you get to a point. Pretty much everybody will have this for the most part. When you're warming up, you're like, man, I'm out of shape or something, or this is really hard. But that just means you're warming up appropriately. There should be a nice spike of intensity in your warm up at some point where you're really waking the body up and you're getting prepared to do some hard work. But when you go from, relaxing and not doing anything to working out during the warm up, that's kind of the hardest part, I think. I think the warm up is the hardest part. So like right now, I feel great. I have another client coming up here. Otherwise, this would be a perfect primer for surfing, right? Or golf or anything that you're into, really, right? But anyway, like I say, as always, use the different components, shaking, moving your joints, dynamic stretching as you need. And like I said, a lot of times for me personally, like in the morning lately, I'll go for a walk, then I'll come back and I'll go through aspects of this routine while listening to some music. And I find that's a nice way to do it. So kind of combining a little bit of dance elements in there. And that's it. But just spending time on the body as you see fit. Again, my apologies. I'll get this thing figured out and hopefully see you guys soon. Have a good weekend.